Hey everybody, I'm Ghastly, and today I'm going to be counting down Ace Trainillium's top 10 Ghost-type Pokemon. Cut, time out, can we cut?
Is this really necessary? I mean, it's just a bit pantomime, that's all. Yeah, can we just do a regular intro? Yeah, just start the video again. Thank you. Hey everybody, Ace Trainillium here, and welcome to my top 10 Ghost-type Pokemon. Now the Ghost-type has been with us since Generation 1. It was kind of a weird typing in Generation 1, since in Gen 1 it was only super effective against itself, even though in the anime they even said that Ghosts were strong against Psychic, yet the only 3 Ghost types in the game were actually weak to Psychic because they were also Poison type. What? But nevertheless, Ghost types are a staple of the Pokemon universe. They're immune to normal and fighting type moves, and generally having a Ghost type on your team can be very handy, especially for their high special attack power and also for a lot of defensive bulk that seems to be associated with Ghost type Pokemon. But here's my rundown of my top 10 favourites. Number 10. Pumpkaboo. Pumpkaboo only gets on this list for being so adorable. I love the option to have different size Pumpkaboo, but let's face it, I'm always going to go with the super size one. Freaking, it's adorable. I don't know why it's so cute, but it's one of the cutest Gen 6 Pokemon ever. It's so cute. It's one of the cutest Ghost type Pokemon ever in my opinion, and it's just so freaking adorable that I'm purely putting in this list based on looks. Number 9. Mismagius. Now I have fond memories of this Pokemon purely because when I was a kid I thought it was called Mismagius for some reason, so I'd always call it Mismagius, and then I finally got around to watching the anime related to it and I was like, oh, Mismagius, yeah, it is spelled that way. What a dunce. But I love its design. I love the whole mage design it has going for it. Plus it reminds me of the Black Mages from Final Fantasy IX. So freaking awesome. Not to mention, it's got pretty good defense, special defense and speed. Alright, it's not so great in attack, but it's got some bulk behind it. Number 8. Rotom. Now Rotom for me is an interesting one because I don't see a lot of normal form Rotoms in battle. We always see Wash Rotom because it's only got one weakness, which is grass. Occasionally I see Frost or Heat Rotom. Very rarely I see Mo Rotom and the occasional Fan. But very rarely do I see people utilise the normal form of Rotom, which is Ghost and Electric type. Yeah, it's got 2 weaknesses, it's got Dark and it's got Ghost, but it's weird that people don't take advantage of the fact that it has 3 immunities: Ground, Normal and Fighting. I find that kind of strange. But for me, this is one of the cuter forms of Rotom. Just nice and simple, adorable little lightning rod. The thing is so sweet, and it's got decent stats. It can survive in battle, which is why people tend to use certain types of Rotom so much. It's just weird to me that I don't see more normal Rotom about. Let's do something about that. Number 7. Golurk. This, as I've said before, is purely a boyhood fanboy dream come true. It's a giant hulking robot rock thing that can freaking fly with jet boosters out of its waist. What on earth? The thing is so cool, it oozes coolness. I can't even express how cool Golurk is. Who's winning the cool prize in this list? It's Golurk by a freaking light year. Golurk is by far the coolest thing you're going to see all day. This is brilliant. Number 6. Jellicent. Pringles, anyone? Jellicent is a big bulky tank of a Pokemon. Like, it's so bulky, it's stupid. With high special defense and decent HP, this thing is your special wall. This thing can take special hits all day. And with the Curse Body ability, it means that you've got a chance of disabling your opponent's physical moves, so then you can survive for even longer. Jellicent has a great design. I mean, yeah, we did already kind of have jellyfish Pokemon in the first generation, but I'm not going to get into that argument because it's a waste of time. Like, they're still very different Pokemon, so let's just enjoy them. Number 5. Aegislash. Aegislash to a lot of people is one of the best things to come out of Gen 6, which is really funny because those same people were the ones like, look at this Pokemon that's a sword. They're running out of ideas. Yet suddenly they realise how effective Aegislash can be, and oh my god, now you're praising it, guys. Interesting. But I can't fault Aegislash because its ability, Stance Change, makes it very, very versatile. It starts off in shield form with 150 defense and 150 special defense, but then when it does its Stance Change before it does an attack, it ends up with 150 attack and 150 special attack. Okay, its defenses then turn to crud, and likewise when it's in shield form, but it allows for more strategy to be used, both using Aegislash and being against Aegislash, because you need to predict when Aegislash is going to change stance and then bam, hit them with the attack that takes it down. And when you're using Aegislash, you need to counter those kind of strategies, and it just makes the Pokemon dynamic very interesting, and that's what I love about Aegislash. Plus, it looks pretty fucking regal. Number 4, Spiritomb. Spiritomb's a Pokemon that I really enjoyed for its one appearance in the anime. It was freaking terrifying in that episode, and I love the whole lore behind it. You know, it got trapped in a keystone because it was so evil and yada yada yada. I also love Spiritomb's connection with the number 108. For example, in its Pokédex entry, it says that it's made up of 108 spirits. Its Pokédex number in the Sinnoh Pokédex is 108. Its base defense is 108. Its base special defense is 108. And in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, it's found in Seymourville on Route 108. This is based on the Buddhist belief that you have to overcome 108 temptations to achieve Nirvana. And in Japan on New Year's Eve, they ring a bell 108 times to chase away these 108 temptations, which I just think it's really cool to base a Pokemon on something so, like, cultural. It's fantastic. Although there is one thing that really bothers me with Spiritomb, the big debate. Everybody says, is it a legendary? Is it not a legendary? Well, I mean, for the people like me that are quite aware that Spiritomb is not a legendary Pokemon, they may have intended for it to be a pseudo-legendary at some point, but it's not a legendary Pokemon. It's not even a pseudo-legendary. But for those of you that are still convinced that it's a legendary, let me just get an expert just to help you understand the situation. Spiritomb's not a fucking legendary, alright? Number 3, Cofagrigus. I mentioned this in my inanimate objects Pokemon video. Cofagrigus is just beautiful. It looks like Tutankhamun's sarcophagus. It looks absolutely gorgeous. The thing is perfect. It reminds me of Creeps from Final Fantasy VIII. The whole thing is just perfect, and it looks evil, it looks scary, it looks possessed, as a ghost-type Pokemon should. And it's nice and bulky. It can last in battle. And I'm actually having loads of fun using Cofagrigus at the moment. It's freaking brilliant. I can't fault this Pokemon. It's just a nicely designed Pokemon. It's one of the better Gen 5 Pokemon for definite. Gen 5 was a good period for Ghost-type Pokemon, in my opinion. Number 2, Chandelure. Chandelure, as you know, one of my favourites. It's absolutely beautiful. The thing just gets away with being a beautiful Pokemon, and it's got cracking special attack and speed. The thing's great. It's a fast, hard hitter. That's what I like about Chandelure. We need more Ghost-type Pokemon like that. Okay, we've got Mega Gengar, but you get my point. It's beautiful. It's an inanimate object that doesn't necessarily look too much like a chandelier, even though it's based on a chandelier. The thing's great. I love Chandelure, and I love everything about it. And I love its pre-evolutions. It's just brilliant. I can't even express how gorgeous this Pokemon is. Before I finish up with number 1, I do want to do a couple of honourable mentions. First up is Frostlass for having creepy Pokédex entries that talk about it being a woman that was lost in the mountains, in the snow, and then suddenly became this ghost woman thing. It's just freaking creepy as hell. And to Dusknoir for evolving from a skull to a cycloptic mummy to a choo-choo train's whistle. Number 1, the entire Gengar line. Yeah, you might think this is a cop-out, especially since the Ghost type is the joint rarest type out of all Pokemon types, tied with Ice. There aren't a lot of Pokemon to choose from in this list, so to choose 3 in one go is a little bit on the chin, right? But I can't decide between the 3. I love them all for different reasons, and they're all part of the same family, and I didn't want to include them as individual entries because you guys would shit all over me if I did that. It's true. So Ghastly I love because I just love its look. I love its design. I love the big eyes, the small mouth with the fangs, the gas. The simplicity of it is brilliant, and I just overall love it. I used to love catching Ghastly whenever possible because I like the look of it. And it's almost weird because normally if I have a Pokemon I like the look of and then it evolves into something else, I'm kind of like, oh, that's a shame. But then it evolves into Haunter, which is one of my favourite Poison-type Pokemon and also possibly my favourite Ghost-type Pokemon, purely because of the nostalgia of I never used to be able to trade when I was a little boy with a Pokemon game. I didn't have a link cable and I didn't have any friends with a link cable, so my Haunters never evolved into Gengars in my first few playthroughs of Pokemon because I couldn't get one. I couldn't trade with anybody, which is fine because it meant that my Hall of Fame always had a Haunter in it, and that's something I'll always remember Haunter for, so that's probably my favourite Ghost type. But then I can't exclude Gengar for being the special attacking beast that it is. Gengar is a Pokemon icon. Gengar is just freaking cool. It's got that Cheshire Cat grin, it's got the evil little eyes, and the fact that it can now Mega Evolve into one of the most beautiful looking Mega Evolutions there are. The thing looks so intimidating. Bam, it gets Shadow Tag as well. That is one scary Pokemon. Plus its base special attack booms up to 175. Gengar has just become such perfection in its own right. It's definitely the best Ghost-type Pokemon in my opinion. Thanks everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments section which are your favourite Ghost-type Pokemon. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another video from me. I'm Ace Trinillium, but until next time, keep on training.